innovative taxation system that has had a significant impact on our nation's economy. It is crucial for us to stay updated with the latest developments in this domain, and this course aims up to equip us with the knowledge and the skills necessary to navigate the complexity of the GST effectively. Today, our focus is on the particularly significant aspect of GST, that is departmental audit, by CA Achal Kapoor, with her extensive expertise and experience, will guide us through this topic, shedding light on the legal provisions, procedure aspects, and practical implications of departmental audit of GST. We are fortunate to have the opportunity to learn from one of the best in this field. Welcome, ma'am. On behalf of our organization committee, I would like to express our gratitude to CA Achal Kapoor, to her willingness to share her expertise with us. We are truly privileged to have her on our speaker on this course. Now I request Ms. Muskan Kesan to read out her brief profile of Kapoor ma'am. Over to you, Muskan.
Is Muskan made a co-host?
He is muted. Muskan, unmute karo. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It is our privilege to hear from ma'am on this subject. So let me first start with a formal introduction of CA Achal Kapoor ma'am. Ma'am has made exemplary contribution to the profession and industry as a national speaker on GST, chartered accountant and law graduate in taxation practice for more than a decade, with privilege of educating through 300 plus GST deliberation across India to professional, industry and trade at large. She has a prerogative of addressing an august gathering of 2,200 plus participants at one point. She is a renowned faculty at National Academy of Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, Master Trainer, Punjab SGST, and approved faculty of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and author to ICAI's various GST publications and other elite journals. She has excellent academic career with third rank all over India in CA PE1, second rank in Northern India in CA PE1, and gold medalist in BCom. She has also completed forensic audit and fraud detection course by ICAI. She has been the winner of AIFCT Presidential Award for the year 21-22. She has also been awarded by NIRC ICA for her exemplary contribution to the profession. She has been presented with the award of appreciation by the Intellectual Forum Amritsar, and also been facilitated by NIRC and EIRC as eminent speaker on GST. She is very much she is in panelist of indirect taxes and customs and all. So thank you, sir. Now the stage is open.
Thank you, Muskan, for reading out her brief profile. I know we need to read out his brief profile at least 2 to 3 hours, but you have briefly completed within 2 or 3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Now, ma'am, over to you.
Tarunji, would you like to say anything?
Yes. I just wanted to welcome you formally. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this certificate course. And we always look forward to your energy and your deliberations. So over to you, and we look forward to your wonderful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tarunji, for being so kind with words. And thank you, Muskan, for reading out the profile, and Vikas Bhaiya for all the leg pullings, even on the online platform. So that's the love and affection which we share professionally and personally all together. And first, formally, I am very much thankful to ACAE Kolkata for giving me this opportunity to interact with the lovely audience today on this platform. And I hope they all will be continuing with me throughout with interaction in the chat box. So to begin with, can I see a few thumbs up in the chat box from every one of you. अब तो कोई question भी नहीं पूछा है. I have not asked any question. So at least now तो you can say, give me a thumbs up. So I can see a few joined as a guest. Oh, great. Arun Agarwal ji, Kalpesh Jain ji. That's so good to see. Right. So friends, the topic for the day, I was just looking out the marathon that ACAE has organized in the form of 20 hours of learning on the Zoom platform, and that too with a certificate course. Great. That really deserves a huge round of applause. I can see the thumbs up flowing on my screen. Zivesh ji, Kavin, Gaurav, Ashish. So you all have to be with me because the topic that is being given to me is audit. So जितना करना interesting है उतना कभी-कभी सुनना boring हो जाता है. So I will be using a Hindi-English mixed language to take up the topic. And yes, you all know that nowadays the audits, assessments, and investigations, inspections, summons are all going on. So we have entered into the litigation stage from the compliance stage. And that is the difference. Now we need to focus on the sections where we are going for the litigation purposes. And friends, audit. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को पूछिए ऑडिट क्या है, सो वो बोलेंगे सब कुछ, मतलब डिटेल्ड एग्जामिनेशन. एंड दिस इज व्हाट द लॉ हैज बीन इंटरप्रेटेड एज. दिस इज व्हाट की ऑडिट का इटसेल्फ मीनिंग है, वेयर यू आर कंटिन्यूइंग, वेयर यू आर डूइंग, वेयर यू आर एग्जामिनिंग वेरी वेरी थॉरली. Friends, let me to begin with, I would like all of you to make a difference between assessment and audit, and that is very very crucial. Right? So I can see the thumbs up. See, it's all flowing and your names have crossed on my screen. So good to see such interactive audience, that too post-lunch session, Now, friends, if I talk about assessment, even if you read the sections, assessment is on a particular point. Identify the discrepancy, communicate it to the taxpayer, and the taxpayer has to revert on the same. So discrepancy in the assessment has to be predetermined. Firstly, they cannot make roving inquiries. They have to find out that what is the discrepancy in the return and the related material. They must communicate it to the taxpayer and he is supposed to reply. This is what is the scrutiny, may it be section 61, 62 and other sections. However, audit is not like that. Audit is entire books of accounts are being produced in front of the officer concerned, and he is supposed to check that, examine that thoroughly. So with this, I first of all share my screen to explain you the audit. But before I say anything, I hope you all can see my screen, right? And let me open the chat box too. Yes. ओके सो फ्रेंड्स, आई नीड, जिस तरह से थम्स अप सबने भेजा था ना, वैसे अब क्वेश्चन का आंसर भी देना. हाँ, ऑडिट के बाद, ऑडिट का रिपोर्ट आने के बाद, जस्ट यस और नो. I don't want anything else, huh? And I will not name also who has said yes or who has said no, and that because there is no third option. If I ask you, can you go for an appeal? Is it the finalization of your liabilities? Yes or no? Can you file an appeal after just the audit? So Kaushik ji, Gitika ji saying no, Naveen ji saying no, Ashish ji saying no, Kavin ji. So you see, you people already know so much. Absolutely correct. What point, my dear friends? Praveena ji, Devra ji, I missed a name in between, so sorry. So yes, you all are absolutely correct in saying no, my dear friends. Reason: ADT 01 is the form where you have been given the notice that, okay, your audit is going to be done by the department. ADT 2 is the form where they communicate to you the audit report. Absolutely correct, Naveen Kumar ji, that ADT 02 is the audit report. Many times the cases have come to me where the ADT 02 has been issued and the person says our liabilities have been determined, you kindly file an appeal. So I say them, ADT, yani this audit paves the way for the demand and recovery. That is, after this ADT 02 report, your assessment, you will be issued a show cause notice, and your demand and recovery sections of 73 and 74 will come into picture. Yes, of course, sir, but how we are going to proceed? So if I ask you a question, how the section 73, 74 or audits are linked? So my answer will be audits and assessments act as a trigger points for 73, 74. मैं ये बिल्कुल नहीं कह रही हूं कि ऑडिट और असेसमेंट जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक 73, 74 का शो कॉज नोटिस नहीं आ सकता. फ्रेंड्स, प्लीज मेक इट अ पॉइंट. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दिस. They are not linked anyway. आपको 73, 74 भी आ सकता है डायरेक्टली, लेकिन जो असेसमेंट्स एंड ऑडिट्स हैं ये आगे वे पोस्ट करते हैं टू द शो कॉज नोटिस अंडर 73 और 74. So to begin with, first of all, what are the legal provisions? Yes, assessments, because audit and assessments are interlinked, section be interlinked hai. So let me give you a brief, just one slide, that yes, assessments are defined under 2 subclause 11, and in that there are means as well as the include parts, and they have told that it is determination of the tax liability under this act. In assessment, there is determination of tax liability, and there are various types of assessment. In audits, these assessments 59, 60, 61, 62, 64, up to 59 to 64 are the assessment sections. 65 and 66 are the audit sections. Only self-assessment is the section which is done by section 59, which is done by the taxpayer himself, and GST is a self-assessment. खुद भरिए, उसके बाद आपकी रिटर्न को स्क्रूटिनाइज किया जा सकता है. लेकिन आई एम अगेन सेइंग यू वन वर्ड, दैट दिस स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न्स, these assessments are with respect to particular issues, particular points, whereas audit, which is given under section 65 and 66, are a detailed examination, and both, may it be the assessments, may it be the audits, are the trigger points for demand and recovery under 73, 74. So we talked about assessments. Now let me talk about the audits. Audit पहले एक audit 9C का हुआ करता था, which is now not applicable, which is deleted as per budgetary provisions 2021 made effective. Now the audit under GST is by the tax authorities only. First, which is normally done by the departmental personnel under section 65. Another are the special audit for which the firms are listed, and CA or CMA are authorized, nominated by the commissioner, are authorized to carry on the GST tax audits. आज हम दोनों के प्रोविजन थोड़े थोड़े से क्यों अच्छे से टच करेंगे. आज तो हमारा टॉपिक ही ये है. लेट मी जस्ट एडजस्ट द स्क्रीन अ लिटिल. Right. So अगर मैं audits की बात करूं, audit by GST tax authorities are journal audits, or it can be a special audit. Annual GST audit is now being removed. Talking about the audit, yes, the term audit is also defined. जैसे अभी हमने कहा assessment is already defined under section 2 clause subclause 11, clause 11. Likewise, the audit is defined under section 2 clause 13, which says audit means. Now see, means what? Examination. And why I am highlighting this point? Because department can ask you anything related to your books of accounts. They can ask you the trial balance. There are audit manuals that are being issued to the department. There are particular questionnaires that are issued to the department about which they can ask you the information, because it is a detailed examination of the records, returns, other documents which are maintained or furnished by the registered person. Hence, they can ask you a number of things into it because they have to verify the correctness. And please make sure they can verify the correctness as to turnover, taxes paid. Have a look. Turnover, to verify the correctness of turnover, taxes paid, refund claim, and ITC. Overall, they have to check your compliance with acts and rules, plugging the revenue loopholes, proper valuation has been done. और आजकल सबसे ज्यादा ऑडिट में वो पहले देखते हैं आपकी परचेज किससे है. अगर सर उनके पास पार्टीज की लिस्ट है, प्रैक्टिकली आई एम टेलिंग यू, they have the list of the parties that have been found bogus, that have been found non-existent, the suppliers, and if in the audit they have your purchases from that sort of suppliers, they first segregate it. They do the vouching part also. They call you for the invoices. They ask you for the invoices. Invoices को thoroughly go through करते हैं. Cross charge, valuation are a number of points which are being considered while doing the audits. So now, what is the main purpose? It is not only the reconciliation of tax liability and payment thereof, but it is overall checking of the returns filed by you with respect to your books of accounts as per GST laws, right? Chaliye, and I specifically mentioned as per GST law because जो आपका normal audit हुआ होता है वो कभी income tax का audit होता है, कभी companies act का audit होता है, means that is as per income tax law, and here we are more concerned about GST law, to turnover, section 2 section 2 clause 6, all those terms of turnover etc. we will be taking up as per GST and not vis-a-vis any other act. So starting with the first section, section 65, and the relevant rule here is rule 101. अच्छा एक बात बताइए, आप ऑडिट करवाने जाएंगे कि जीएसटी अथॉरिटीज आपके प्रीमाइसेस पे आएंगी, department or premises of the registered taxable person, where the audit will be taken up? Quickly, premises, both. Okay, आशीष जी कहते दोनों जगह, कुछ चाय हम पी लेंगे जाकर, कुछ वो यहाँ आकर पी लेंगे, right? गीतिका जी both. अच्छा इसको थोड़ा सा करें. It is either. It is either. Yes, Vikas Banka ji mentioning choice of the department. Absolutely correct. He covered 2 points into it. चाय आपको पिलानी है कि उन्होंने आपने वहां जाकर पीनी है. This is the choice of the department. So section 65 says commissioner or other friends, जब भी आप litigation के sections कर रहे हो, किसका approval होना चाहिए, कौन authorized person है, क्या उसके requisite sign है, इन सब पॉइंट्स का बहुत ज्यादा रेलेवेंस होता है. Sometimes even the activities like search, inspections, they are null, they are made null and void just because of the purpose that the requisite approvals, the requisite authorities have not signed the papers, the requisite approvals have not been taken. So please be very, very particular. Chaliye Gaurav ji, we will discuss it someday later. Anyhow, okay, commissioner or officer authorized अंडरटेक ऑडिट ऑफ रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन. अब बात सुनिए, जब हम असेसमेंट की बात करते हैं उसमें अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन का भी असेसमेंट है. क्यों? जिसको जो लेने की जरूरत थी नंबर, बट उसने नहीं ले रखा है. हियर ऑडिट इज टेकन ऑफ द रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, कमिश्नर और ऑफिसर ऑथराइज्ड आपका ऑडिट कर सकता है. कितने पीरियड का करना है, कितने फ्रीक्वेंसी, दिस इज बीइंग प्रिस्क्राइब्ड इन द रूल 101. अच्छा एक फाइनेंशियल ईयर का कि मल्टीपल? इट कैन बी वन, इट कैन बी मल्टीपल फाइनेंशियल ईयर. फ्रेंड्स, जो नोटिसेस भी आ रहे हैं जनरली वो मल्टीपल फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स के ही इशू हो रहे हैं. Generally 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 are being issued together. So there is no harm in it. Period, frequency, manner वो आपको मल्टीपल ईयर्स का भी टेकअप कर सकते हैं. कहाँ करना है? Audit can be conducted at place of business or in department office. Depending upon who is to decide this, it is none other than the department who is to decide it. But क्या करना, registered person को at least 15 days prior to conduct of audit बता देना कि what are the things that you are coming for the audit or you will be calling them for the audit. At least 15 days prior to the conduct of audit, the person must be informed. Necessary facility must be provided to verify. Taxpayer, ये तुम्हें 15 दिन पहले inform करेंगे, not taxpayer, registered person. Registered person, proper officer तुम्हें 15 दिन पहले inform करेगा और तुम उसको जो चाहिए necessary facility provide करोगे, information furnish करोगे, required assistance दोगे for the timely completion of audit, ताकि so that proper officer within a period of 3 months from the date of commencement of audit, इस audit को complete कर पाए. Now the question arises, what is the date of commencement? जिस दिन आपने records पूरे provide कर दिए और जिस दिन वो या अगर वो आपकी business place पर आ रहे हैं, actual conduct of audit at the place of business, whichever is later, उसके 3 months के अंदर they are supposed to provide the audit report, PO, they have to conclude the audit, and proper officer within the 30 days from the conclusion of the audit, you are supposed to give your findings in the ADT 02. If they find tax is short paid, not paid, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, it will trigger the way to 73-74. So हमने section 65 को एक बार वर्बेटम पढ़ा, जिसने हमें बेसिक प्रोविजन बताए. 15 दिन पहले उन्होंने इन्फॉर्म करना है, ऑडिट कहीं पर भी किया जा सकता है ऑन द चॉइस ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट. कमिश्नर या पर्सन ऑथराइज, चाहे उसको जर्नल ऑर्डर से किया या स्पेसिफिक ऑर्डर से, रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन का ऑडिट कर सकता है 1 या 1 से ज्यादा सालों का. कहां पे कर सकता है? प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस पर भी. Who has the option to choose? Authorized officer or at his own office. Right now, कम से कम 15 days before inform करना है form ADT 01 में. So the beginning of audit is with form ADT 01. आपको ये ऑडिट डेट ऑफ कमेंसमेंट से 3 months के अंदर कंप्लीट करना है. एंड कंपेंसमेंट मींस जिस टाइम पे बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, रिकॉर्ड्स एंड डॉक्यूमेंट्स प्रोवाइड कर दिए गए या एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ ऑडिट, विच एवर इज लेटर. इज डिपार्टमेंट गिव एनी ऑडिट और रिपोर्ट और ऑर्डर आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ ऑडिट? यस नीता जी, डिपार्टमेंट इश्यूज ADT 02 form communication. Have a look on the next slide. You might get it there. As per rule also, the proper officer to conduct the audit of records, documents, returns and statement, correctness check करनी है, rate applied check करना है, everything they will be checking up, and then they will be providing you report in ADT 02 form, Neeta ma'am. Now friends, my question to you is, can they ask you for a trial balance? Because बहुत बार मुझे ये questions आता है कई professionals से, they are asking us the trial balance. Okay, what are the parameters जिसमें आपका केस सेक्शन 65 के ऑडिट में आ सकता है? सो और एक चीज और, आपको उनके क्वेश्चंस का रिप्लाई कैसे करना है, जिसमें हमारा मेन क्वेश्चन आता है दैट आईटीसी मिसमैच. आईटीसी सामने वाले सप्लायर ने डिपॉजिट नहीं कराया, आईटीसी 16 सबसेक्शन 4 के टाइम पीरियड के बाद लिया गया. सो वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग ऑल दीज आफ्टर दैट. Now, coming to the point, अच्छा अब हमने 65 के ऑडिट की बात की थी, थोड़ा सा मैं पहले टच अपॉन करती हूँ, फिर हम पैरामीटर्स को भी टच करेंगे कि किन किन पैरामीटर्स पे आपका ऑडिट किया जा सकता है. सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द स्पेशल ऑडिट, मैम देखिए जनरली generally क्या, even if you have discrepancies or something, so they give you the finding. आप अपनी मर्जी से GRC 03 जमा कराते हैं 75 जो आपका 73 सबसेक्शन 5 में, that is as per your कि आप accept कर रहे हैं liability को, but ADT 02 form is the, अगर आपके audit में कोई findings है, so they communicate you through the ADT 02. Starting में ही था मैम, कुछ cases में इन्होंने ADT 02 issue नहीं किए थे, but now they are complying with the same and they are properly issuing ADT 02. Right? Okay, चलिए. Section 66 special audit. In case of special audit, कौन करेगा? अरे जब किसी वैल्यू में कोई इशू है, डिटेल्ड स्क्रूटनी, इन्वेस्टिगेशन और अदर प्रोसीडिंग में वैल्यू में कोई इशू मिला, ITC is not within the normal limits. Now, what is normal limits is not defined. Commissioner के अप्रूवल से ऑफिसर अप टू AC with prior approval of the commissioner direct registered person to get the accounts audited by a CA or CMA. और सर इसी की applications आप भरते हैं when you get your firms registered for doing the departmental audit under section 63 because it is to be done by a CA or CMA. और इसका उसका पीरियड क्या था? 3 months. Here the period is 90 days and further extended by 90 days by AC on application by the registered person. Now, if audit, even if already done, still you can be referred for special audit. अच्छा friends, income tax में भी special audit है. As per section 142(2)(a). There also, even if you have audited accounts, but due to the complexity of the account, due to certain issues not clear, you can be referred for special audit. इसके expenses जो है, remuneration जो है chartered accountant की, that shall be determined and paid by the commissioner, and that will be the final. They are going to pay it to you. And where the special audit conducted under subsection 1 में भी कोई tax short paid निकलता है, wrongly paid निकलता, not paid निकलता है, erroneous refund निकलता है, ITC wrongly awarded निकलता है, again section 66 will pave the way for the demand and recovery proceedings under section 73 or 74. ADT 0102 forms were related to section 65 audit, and ADT 03 and 04 are related to the special audit. So direction for special audit are given in ADT 03 to the registered person, and the audit findings are given through ADT 04. So these are the various forms and the provisions of this section. Now, opportunity of being heard, of course, it is the principle of natural justice. If there is anything proceeding against the person concerned, he is given opportunity of being heard, and the assessee has to furnish reply for the same. Expenses, already told you, remuneration to a chartered accountant are to be paid by the commissioner, and his decision is going to be final. Now, coming towards, I have given here various assessment and ADT forms. Friends, many a times, you must have seen these types of forms. Let me practically come to the issue. When the audit is being done, the officer sometimes gives us GST AM forms. And we say that these GST AM forms are not there. भाई हमने तो ADT 01 पढ़ा है, 02, 03, 04. अब ये GST AM क्या है? This is the audit manual that is being issued by the department for its officer, that in which basis they are going to conduct the audit. What are the documents required? What are the ratio analysis? What are the comparative charts? What are the questionnaires? लेकिन वो generally registered taxpayer को दिया जाता है कि हमें information ये चाहिए. कारण आप जब उनको एक बार information provide करते हो, they again say you हमें ये भी चाहिए, हमें ये भी column चाहिए, because उन्होंने format GST AM को comply कराना है. So what they say you, we need so and so information. Sir, अभी दिखाऊंगी भी GST AM. इतना डिटेल्ड क्वेश्चनर है, पूरा परचेजेस का सेक्शन, सेल्स का सेक्शन, आपसे पूरे रेशियो एनालिसिस, एंड दैट ऑल विल बी डिपेंडेड, और हम उनको उसी फॉर्मेट में फिल करके देते हैं. सो एक्चुअली GST AM फॉर्म्स व्हिच we fill while getting the audit done is not the part of the legal provisions of the section, but it is the part of audit manual which the officers are supposed to comply. और क्योंकि वो documents हमने provide करने होते हैं, so वो GST AM forms हम practically fill कर देते हैं. Now, after going through the provisions, section 65 or 66, mainly we will be focusing on section 65. क्या पॉइंट्स कंसिडर होंगे while getting the audit done? पहली बात, there are some states जिन्होंने अपनी एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर का लिमिट रखा है. कईयों ने 2, जैसे महाराष्ट्र ने 2 करोड़ रखा है कि हम उससे नीचे डिपार्टमेंटल ऑडिट नहीं लेंगे. बट there is no minimum aggregate turnover prescribed for conducting departmental audit. And one thing more, there is no prescribed criteria कि डिपार्टमेंट आपके प्रेमाइसिस पर आएगा कि आप डिपार्टमेंट के पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स लेके जाओगे ऑडिट करवाने के लिए. Why I am saying so? इसलिए बोल रही हूँ क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा देखा गया कि 25 करोड़ की टर्नओवर के लिए भी वो ऑडिट आपके प्रेमाइसिस पर करने आते हैं. और कभी कभी 100 करोड़ की टर्नओवर भी हो तो बोलते डॉक्यूमेंटेशन ले आइए. सो ना तो मिनिमम एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर का कोई क्राइटेरिया है कि डिपार्टमेंटल ऑडिट इससे ऊपर होगा, ना ये कोई क्राइटेरिया है कि आप आएंगे कि आपको डॉक्यूमेंट्स लेकर जाने हैं. राइट? सो इट इज absolutely the will of the officer concerned कि वो आपका ऑडिट कहाँ करना चाहता है. चलिए, with the help of the zonal, yes, Director General of Audit, special, जैसे यहाँ पर भी in Punjab also there is a separate audit department. There are separate GST audit commissionerates which are particularly dealing with the audits, and then they send the case to for the purpose of adjudication to the regular adjudication chain. Right? So GST audit commissionerates ensure करते हैं कि risk profile पे सारी coverage हो, and the audits are being taken as per the risk evaluation methods. Sir, इतना टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज नॉर्मल टैक्स पेयर नहीं कर रहा, एक हाई प्रोफाइल कंपनीज नहीं कर रही जितना डिपार्टमेंट कर रहा है. एम आई राइट विकास भैया? They are absolutely using the technologies to its fullest extent. Tarun ji, we have seen such softwares being implanted by the department. पहले क्या होता था, एक व्हीकल क्रॉस करता था ना, so the ratio was 850:1 lakh. 1 लाख में से सिर्फ 850 विकास जी व्हीकल जो थे वो चेक हो पाते थे. Now they are linking it with the FASTags. And they have provide mobile apps to the officer concerned, real time basis पर इनके साथ information share होता है. Is there any issue with the audio? I think so. It's perfectly clear. SKL laptop ji, kindly check it once at your level and you have to log in again. All right. So continuing, अब तो इस तरह से information है real time basis. क्या critical commodity carry हो रही है? क्या आपने उसका e-way bill किया है या नहीं किया है? गूगल मैप के साथ लिंकिंग हो रही है. सो ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स नीड टू बी चेक कि एंड इंडस्ट्री मस्ट ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड. माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, इंडस्ट्री को समझना पड़ेगा कि नाउ वी आर इनटू द टेक्नोलॉजिकल वर्ल्ड, और ये जितना आपका ऑडिट का डाटा है, सो डीजी आर्म जो है, Director General of Analytics and Risk Management, they are particularly into this. कौन से levels, कौन सी commodities, कहाँ पे आपकी ratios differ कर रही हैं, कौन लोग exports के refund ले रहे हैं, कहाँ पे refunds का quantum ज्यादा है, कहाँ assets is to turnover का ratio ज्यादा है. इतनी सारी ratios हैं. I will just show you. They have applied the various mechanisms. You know, थोड़े दिन पहले मुझे विकास भैया के घर से फोन आया. पूछो क्यों? घर पे नहीं बताया था कि भाई मैंने तो नई रोलेक्स वॉच खरीदी है, और वहां पे फोन आ गया जी इन्होंने रोलेक्स वॉच खरीदी है. आप पिज्जा मंगवाते हैं, आप ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग करते हैं. All these data is being traced and being gathered, and the assessees, because we are talking about the audit and we are entering into the world of audit trail, let me tell you, nothing is going to be deleted from your systems. आप सोचते हैं ये एंट्री पंच हुई और इसको डिलीट कर दी, आप सोचते हैं वो तो डिलीट हो गई, कुछ भी डिलीट नहीं होता. The cloning and the other techniques, each and every data is recoverable. So please make sure at least such things should not be done at your place in order to safeguard, because recently it has been observed कि जिन पार्टियों के inspections और searches हुई हैं, उनके councils के यहाँ भी inspections और searches हुई हैं. So please make sure nothing should be there in the systems as such, and nothing is getting deleted from the systems as such. Even the GST audit department is dividing the persons. अच्छा, कितने लोगों को आजकल certificates issue हुए हैं? How many of you have received the appreciation certificates from the GST department? किन किन के clients को, किन के RTPs को वो आए हैं? किसी को नहीं आया है. Nobody is writing in the chat box. Many appreciation certificates have been, yes, Devraj ji, they are observing. None. कौशिक जी कोई बात नहीं, थोड़ी देर में आपके क्लाइंट्स को भी इशू हो जाएंगे या करवा देंगे, don't worry. Yes, गीतिका जी, दिनेश प्रताप जी, absolutely. Even when they are doing the audit, yes, Kevin ji, even when they are doing the audits, they are dividing the registered persons with high risk score, based upon the local risk factors, medium and small. They are dividing the registered taxable persons on the basis of their outward supplies also, as large, medium or small. And they have provided the work. See, whenever they are selecting, they are using the accredited status कि किसका ऑडिट, और जिन लोगों को जैसे ये सर्टिफिकेट्स इशू हो रहे हैं, who have high accredited ratings, उनके ऑडिट के लिए गवर्नमेंट हैज talked about that their audit will be taken after 3 years from the date of last audit. So criteria of accreditation, they have not, they will be communicating, that has not been communicated as such, but the selection is on the basis of local risk factors. जैसे R1 greater than 3B. अरे अब तो बहुत कुछ कर दिया गवर्नमेंट ने. R1 अगर 3B और R1 में फर्क होगा, that is considered as your self-assessment tax, the higher amount. We have seen DRC 01B also coming into picture. 3B से ज्यादा GST या 2A और 2B से ज्यादा आपने इनपुट लिया हुआ है. Some specific service sectors, किसी ऐसे केसेस में जहां पे enforcement reports are there more than 10 crores, ट्रांजिशनल इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट कैरी फॉरवर्ड हो रहे हैं अर्लियर रिजीम में, यानी ट्रांस क्रेडिट्स है, इवेजन प्रून कमोडिटीज है, रिफंड ज्यादा लिए गए हैं, केसेस जहां पे एनफोर्समेंट रिपोर्ट्स हैं. All these are the criteria for the purpose of selection, and some are made on the basis of wild card entry. 50,000 audits were taken last year, and the more are expected this year. सर ये जो अभी बता रही हूँ, ये मैंने आपको बोला था टैक्स पेयर को वो डिवाइड करते हैं लार्ज, मीडियम एंड स्मॉल में. सी, ये कोई ड्यूरेशन मैंडेटरी नहीं है, बट द ऑफिसर्स हैव बीन गिवन कि लार्ज का 6 to 8 days, मीडियम का 4 to 6 days, स्मॉल टैक्स पेयर का 2 to 4 वर्किंग डेज में दे आर सपोज्ड टू कंप्लीट द ऑडिट. और अगर आपके मल्टीपल ईयर्स के ऑडिट है तो उतने से मल्टीप्लाई कर लीजिए. सो maximum audit coverage is for 5 years, and the numbers may be increased to the maximum of 16, 12 or 8 days for large, medium and small. What are these? These are the instructions that have been given to the audit personnel to carry on the audit, right? So they are supposed to finish it. Audit groups deployed for large unit में कौन कौन हो सकता है? 2 से 3 superintendent हो सकते हैं, 3 से 5 inspectors. But even if they don't adhere to these time, there is nothing wrong on their part. These are the indicative duration, and this is the indicative man force that they are supposed to deploy for a particular audit. Now, coming to us, here I have given 39 examples on which the persons can be selected for the purpose of audit. अभी हम बात तो करेंगे जब 2A में रिफ्लेक्शन नहीं है, ये 2B में 2A इसलिए बोला मैंने फ्रेंड्स क्योंकि मैं 17, 18, 19 के ऑडिट की भी बात कर रही हूँ. Apart from that, delayed document submissions, delayed returns filings, size of the taxpayer turnover is to net profit. See how many ratio analysis they are using. Expenses is to turnover ratio. Turnover is to total asset ratio. Loan is to total asset ratio. So a number of things. Compare percentage of net profit. कितना ई-वे बिल जनरेट हो रहा है और कितना टर्नओवर जा रहा है. Size of income, real estate income कितनी है. Exemptions, where there are more exemptions, that will also be considered. Even if there is a comparison of average activities, multiple branches है, multiple activities है, GST return filing नहीं हो रही है, exempted supplies का turnover as to total supplies ज्यादा है, periodical returns नहीं है, लेकिन ई-वे बिल रेगुलरली बन रहे हैं. टैक्स पेयर पहले भी इन्वेस्टिगेट हो चुका है फॉर द पर्पस. फ्रेंड्स, लेट मी टेल यू, जिन लोगों के माल कंसाइनमेंट्स मोबाइल विंग पकड़ता है और 130 सेक्शन में कन्फिस्केशन होता है, उनकी एक सेपरेट रिपोर्ट जाती है. These forms the basis for the selections. The taxpayers who are not filing 3B but in their electronic. Acha, one more thing. How much cash you are paying, how much credit you are using, that bifurcation is also one of the criteria. और आपका GST डिपार्टमेंट रेगुलर बेसिस पे रिपोर्ट्स भेजता है कि इस पीरियड में इतना टैक्स पे हुआ था, इस पीरियड में इतना टैक्स पे हुआ है, व्हाट इज द रीजन. माइट बी समटाइम्स यू माइट हैव आल्सो रिसीव्ड द कॉल कि लास्ट टाइम तो आपके टैक्स पेयर ने इतना पे किया था, इस बार इतना टैक्स कम क्यों पे किया, व्हाट हैज बीन द रीजन. लास्ट ईयर से कंपैरिजन. These are the various bases on which the cases are being selected for the purposes of audit. Now, what are the points? Yes, what are the points that you should also take care while giving the documents to the department? Let me come to that first. Please make sure that your P&L account incomes a proper RICO as per GST and as per income tax should be made. Sir, कुछ documents कहने से पहले ही अगर on record डाल दिए जाए, that is always beneficial for the officer also to understand the case and to understand the case from your own perspective. आप समझ रहे हैं क्यों? अगर मेरी हो सकता है मेरी इनकम टैक्स की टर्नओवर और मेरी जीएसटी का टर्नओवर अलग अलग होगा. बड़ी देर हो गई, चैट बॉक्स में कोई मैसेज नहीं लिखा आपने. जस्ट टेल मी फ्यू पॉइंटर्स वेयर द जीएसटी टर्नओवर कैन डिफर फ्रॉम इनकम टैक्स टर्नओवर. क्या होगा? अरे सबसे पहले पॉइंट नंबर 1, स्केड्यूल 1 सप्लाईज. कोई एसेट्स डिस्कार्ड हुए हैं, कुछ आपकी जो इंटर ब्रांच ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं वो इनकम टैक्स के P&L में क्योंकि वो नलीफाई हो जाती हैं बट जीएसटी में आएंगे. एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट नवीन जी. डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन ट्रांजैक्शन. सेल ऑफ फिक्स्ड एसेट्स. सेल ऑफ फिक्स्ड एसेट इनकम टैक्स में डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ट में होगा, बुक्स में डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ट में होगा, लेकिन यहाँ पे टर्नओवर पे एडिशन होगा. एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट आशीष जी. एडवांसेस फॉर सर्विसेज. So all these points, a complete RICO कि मेरी. And one thing more, your turnovers are like rentals from commercial properties and commissions, etc. Sometimes which you take to the capital account of the proprietor must also be accounted for the purposes of GST audit. So a complete RICO as to income and receipts as per P&L account should be there. RCM. प्लीज आइडेंटिफाई. फ्रेंड्स, ये मैं सब वो पॉइंट्स बता रही हूँ जो ऑफिसर्स चेक करते हैं. एंड बीइंग द मास्टर ट्रेनर फॉर द जीएसटी ऑडिट डिपार्टमेंट, आई कैन टेल यू कि हम वहां पर भी क्या बोलकर आते हैं. सो पर्टिकुलरली ऑन दोज इश्यूज, क्या क्या आजकल वैल्यूएशन, बोगस बिलिंग, क्रॉस चार्ज, these are the number of points which department is really focusing on, including section 17 subsection 5. So सबसे पहले तो बिलिंग, Secondly, valuation criteria like section 17 subsection 5 के ITCs and cross charge are they particularly focusing on along with rule 42-43. So अगर आपकी exempt supplies हैं, make sure आपने rule 42-43 properly account for किया हो. Please scrutinize your P&L for the RCM payments. क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा होता है कुछ foreign payments की हैं, कुछ ऐसी payments की हैं which are liable for RCM, something related to sponsorship, something related to other criterias which are liable for RCM, GTA payments, lawyer co-payments, where the RTP might have missed the RCM payments. Please check for that. Right? Thirdly, bifurcation of expenses. Yes. जिन जिन खर्चों पे आईटीसी क्लेम किया है और स्पेशली जब आपका रूल 42-43 लगना है ना, सो जरूर देख लेना किन किन खर्चों पे आईटीसी. इफ द टाइम विल परमिट आई विल शो यू द माय शीट ऑफ वर्किंग ऑफ रूल 42-43. व्हाट आई डू माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आई टेक द एंटायर P&L इनटू द एक्सेल शीट. P&L के जितने खर्चे हैं उसका आईटीसी किस हेड में गया है, आई में, सी में, एस में, इतना इतना इतना, किस किस खर्चे पे आईटीसी लिया है, एंटायर P&L ही आपके आईटीसी अवेल्ड का टोटल बोलेगा, इंक्लूडिंग योर ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट. सो व्हेन यू अप्लाई रूल 42-43 इन दैट केस इट बिकम्स वेरी वेरी इजी. सेक्शन 16 की कंडीशन पूरी होनी चाहिए. प्लीज टैक्स इनवॉइसेस चेक कर लीजिएगा, क्योंकि जब आप डिपार्टमेंट में टैक्स इनवॉइस देते हैं ना, फिर वो ऑफ कोर्स समटाइम्स द फाइल्स आर रियली बल्की, समटाइम्स तो 2-2, 3-3 सूटकेसेस जाते हैं जब पार्टी के इनवॉइसेस वगैरह वो मंगवाते हैं. इन दैट केस ऑल्सो दे जस्ट मार्क द इनवॉइसेस एंड कीप इट ऑन साइड. सबसे पहले तो बोगस वाले, देन जिनमें प्रॉपरली साइन नहीं है, प्रॉपर पर्टिकुलर्स मेंशन नहीं है, कुछ व्हाट डू यू कॉल इट एज कच्ची पर्चियां हैं एंड ऑल दैट. प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट ऑल द कंडीशंस ऑफ सेक्शन 16 इंक्लूडिंग द टैक्स इनवॉइसेस हैव बीन प्रॉपरली एडहेयर्ड टू. सेक्शन 17 सबसेक्शन 5 का कोई आईटीसी नहीं होना चाहिए. मोटर व्हीकल्स, कार्स, बिल्डिंग. हाँ, एक क्राइटेरिया और है. Many a times it has been seen that department ने building की repair का ITC भी disallowed किया है. Let me clarify this. Vehicle का अगर ITC है, वो repair का भी तभी मिलना है अगर vehicle का allowed है, यानी 13 सीटर से ऊपर है उसी का ITC मिलेगा, उसी की repair का ITC मिलेगा. But there is no criteria कि बिल्डिंग का आईटीसी, बिल्डिंग का कंस्ट्रक्शन का आईटीसी सेक्शन 17 सबसेक्शन 5C एंड 5D में डिसअलाउड हो सकता है इफ इट फुलफिल्स द क्राइटेरिया, अगर वो कैपिटलाइज हुआ है. लेकिन अगर वो कैपिटलाइज नहीं हुआ है और आप बिल्डिंग रिपेयर डाल रहे हैं which is debited to your P&L account, that is an allowed expenditure and on that ITC is also allowed in your GST. उसके ऊपर 17(5) नहीं लगता है. So buildings, plant and machinery, इनकी repairs के ITC allowed है. Yes, 180 days for the creditors. अगर तो लगाया है well and good, अगर नहीं लगाया तो you must fight for it. और जब मैं fight for it कह रही हूँ, so criteria for 180 days, my dear friends, आज मेरा ITC टॉपिक नहीं है, बट होता तो I just give you a brief. पहली बात, अगर आप सेक्शन 16 का प्रोवाइजो पढ़ोगे जिसमें 180 डेज का क्राइटेरिया मेंशन्ड है, इट रेफर्स टू फेलियर टू पे. When it is mutual understanding between you and me, means the creditor and the debtor, and the payment terms are kept beyond 180 days, there is no failure to pay. When there is no failure to pay, you cannot apply the provisions of disallowance of ITC on the basis of non-payment within 180 days. Second, जिसका मशीनरी मैकेनिज्म ही नहीं था, रूल 37. फ्रेंड्स, पहली बात देखिए, मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि आपको टैक्स कंप्लाइंट नहीं करना है, आपको टैक्स कंप्लाइंट नहीं बनना है या टैक्स को कंप्लाई नहीं करना है. नो, नॉट एट ऑल. To the extent you can comply, you must comply. For the past periods also, if you would have been able to comply, the creditors must have been paid within a period of 180 days. But now when the things are already done and you cannot undo it now, so what is the criteria that you need to fight for the same, and you should prepare your reply in such a manner that in that case, you must give a proper reply. I come to your question, Gaurav ji, उधर देखने लगी थी मैं. चलिए, anyhow, criteria of 180 days, जैसे rule 37. सर, गवर्नमेंट कहती है रिटर्न भरिए. अगर रिटर्न का फॉर्म ही आपको ना दिया जाए तो क्या आप उस रिटर्न को भर सकते हो? आंसर इज नो. So likewise, when the mechanism for 180 days, जब GST 2 कभी आया ही नहीं, rule 37 कभी implement ही नहीं हो पाया, you cannot ask the person. So there are various grounds on the which you can fight for 180 days criteria. अच्छा फ्रेंड्स, गौरव जी ने क्वेश्चन लिखा है कि 17(5) में इंटीरियर रेनोवेशन ऑफ शोरूम नहीं. गौरव जी, यही तो मैंने बताया, क्योंकि इवन आई हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड इन मेनी ऑफ माय ऑडिट केसेस दे आर डिनाइंग द आईटीसी ऑफ 17 सबसेक्शन 5, बट प्लीज रेफर टू सेक्शन 17 सबसेक्शन 5 क्लॉज C and D. It particularly refers to capitalization in the books of account. And when it is not a major renovation or repair and which is not capitalized and it is debited to the P&L account, its ITC of that repair is an allowed expenditure. Right? Allowed, the ITC on the same is allowed. All right. So now coming back, 180 days refunds. It has been observed in many cases the refunds have been claimed where those were not allowed. If the officer concerned is really vigilant and knowledgeable and you have claimed the refunds, please make sure अगर वो inverted duty में था तो inverted duty की conditions comply होनी चाहिए. अगर वो export में था तो exports की condition होने चाहिए. Even during certain audits, it has been found that the person have claimed the refunds, whereas the billing was taken from the bogus suppliers. So you need to be very, very, you must make sure with the party concerned that all the refunds claims and the purchases made are genuinely done. Yes, classification. Classification. Now, in case of the classification, a big issue. अगर सर खासकर स्टार्टिंग के years में 17, 18, 18, 19, multiple rate changes, wrong HSN, wrong SAC code. Until or unless that does not impact the rate, you can find. You can fight on the issue कि अच्छा ये तो revenue neutral था, मैंने HSN ही गलत लिखा है, मैंने rate correctly pay किया है. But in case you have wrongly, or खासकर goods or services, if there are such classification issues, so that are also being taken up during the audits. What else? Advances. अभी आप ही में से किसी ने mention किया था, कि एडवांसेस का एडजस्टमेंट हुआ होना चाहिए. और सीधी बात, योर टर्नओवर प्लस बैलेंस शीट का क्लोजिंग एडवांस उतना आपके टर्नओवर से जीएसटी टर्नओवर से मैच करना चाहिए. Please make sure that your balance as per GST portal and closing balance as per financial statement should match. And my dear friends, when you are getting the audits done, your GSTR 9 is a document that comes for your savior in case your portal balances and financial statement closing balances are not matched. आप बोलते हैं ना ये एडजस्टमेंट मैंने अगले साल की है. So your table 10, 11, 12, 13 of GSTR 9 are going to help you. अगर आपने इस साल का कोई एडजस्टमेंट अगले साल किया है या पिछले साल का कोई एडजस्टमेंट इस साल किया है, तो पिछले साल की GSTR 9 और इस साल की GSTR 9, उसके बेसिस पे if you will prepare your RICO, that will be easily you will be able to substantiate it during the audit. Right? Now, you have to make sure transit insurance. Friends, when we are talking about audit ना, तो पूरा GST उसमें covered है, पूरा GST. अच्छा एक बात बताना, how many types of documents are there in GST? GST में कितनी तरह के documents है? Quickly, I want a number. Number of documents that are there in GST. इनकम टैक्स में तो टक 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 वाउचिंग करते हैं आप लोग जब ऑडिट करते हैं, एक आर्टिकल को उसी पे लगाया होता है, अच्छा ये ले रेड ग्रीन पेन, टक 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 वाउचिंग कर दीजिए. हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट, कुछ तो नंबर लिख दो, पता तो लगे जाग रहे हो, सोए नहीं हो. 5, 6, 7, 8, 18, 28. How many types of documents are there in GST? 8 types of documents. What are those? Tax invoice, debit notes, credit notes, and आजकल डिपार्टमेंट जब ऑडिट कर रहा है तो वो आपसे सेल्फ इनवॉइसेस भी मांगता है अगर आपने अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन को पेमेंट्स की है आरसीएम के केस में. प्लीज मेक श्योर टैक्स इनवॉइसेस, डेबिट नोट, क्रेडिट नोट्स, सेल्फ इनवॉइसेस, पेमेंट. और सर हाफ से ज्यादा पार्टीज होंगी जिन्होंने पेमेंट वाउचर इशू नहीं किए होंगे, रिफंड वाउचर इशू नहीं किए होंगे, सेल्फ इनवॉइसिंग नहीं बनाई होगी. So you must be very, very vigilant wherever self-invoices, payment of RCM pertaining to unregistered person calls for self-invoicing. That should have been done. और GSTR1 में भी सीरीज मेंशन नहीं की होती है. Branch transfers as per Schedule 1, 2A, 2B recos, sale of fixed assets छूट जाती है, GST में अकाउंट फॉर नहीं की होती. These points are relevant for the purpose of consideration. बहुत सारे नोटिसेस आजकल डिपार्टमेंट इशू कर रहे हैं इंटरेस्ट लायबिलिटी के ऊपर. आपकी रिटर्न लेट है और आपने इंटरेस्ट डिस्चार्ज नहीं किया है. क्रॉस चार्ज विद, यस, क्रॉस चार्ज इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द इश्यूज वेयर देयर आर मल्टीपल ब्रांचेस, चाहे हम बैंक्स के ऑडिट्स करा रहे हैं, चाहे इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज के ऑडिट करा रहे हैं. और 40 to 43 की प्रॉपर वर्किंग तो डिपार्टमेंट आपसे डिमांड करता है. स्टॉक रिकॉर्ड्स अगर मेंटेन नहीं हुए, so there is direct in GST the person is supposed to maintain the stock records. and जिन लोगों ने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में क्वालिफिकेशन दी होती है फॉर्म 3CD में, party is not maintaining the stock records, the department can directly levy penalty under GST for non-maintenance of stock records as required by Section 35 of CGST Act. So please make your party aware. Mixed or composite supply, a big issue. For example, आपकी पार्टी कुछ इकट्ठी चीजें दे रही है, 1-on-1 दे रही है. So there are number of issues that have been raised, department considering it as a mixed supply, whereas you have paid the tax as per the composite supply. Job work procedures are not complied with, and yes, Rule 86B. Acha, may I know how many of you are following Rule 86B? 86B means 1% tax cash में pay करना ही पड़ेगा. How many of you are following that? How many of you are following that? Can I see in the chat box? विकास बांका जी कहते मैं हम तो फॉलो कर रहे हैं भाई. कल्पेश जैन जी, फ्रेंड्स इतने नोटिसेस इशू किए हैं. Am I right विकास भैया? So many notices have been. अच्छा, नवीन जी कहते मेरे केस में तो एप्लीकेबल ही नहीं है. गौरव जी, नो असेसी अग्रीज टू पे, डोंट वरी, डिपार्टमेंट बनवा लेगा. फिर आजकल इतना नोटिस इशू हो रहा है 86B में कि जहां आपने और एक चीज और विकास भैया, व्हाट आई वांट टू हाईलाइट हियर, नीता जी, नवीन जी, आई वुड लाइक टू हाईलाइट हियर कि अब अच्छा एक बजट पास हो गया, बजट 2023 पास हो गया है, यस और नो? हो गया है, राइट? हो गया है. जीएसटी के प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल हो गए हैं, अभी नोटिफाई नहीं हुए. जिस दिन वो सब नोटिफाई हो जाते हैं, रूल्स कुछ प्रोविजंस तो नोटिफाई कर भी दिए गए हैं, जो जैसे ही उनके रूल्स आ जाएंगे, जो अमेंडेड सेक्शन 38 है, उस दिन विकास भैया पार्टी बोलेगी आईटीसी वापस ले लीजिए और हमें डायरेक्ट 5% या लोअर रेट ऑफ टैक्स दे दीजिए. जानते हैं क्यों? इवन नाउ इन द मेन कंडीशंस दे हैव पुट दैट if you are not following Rule 86B, your registration can even be cancelled, your ITC can be denied. Am I right, Vikas ji? Please unmute.
Yes.
So please make sure, अगर आप 86B को follow नहीं कर रहे हैं, so you must start following it. A number of notices are being issued by the department in this regard. Right, Kevin जी? Yes, of course, sir. अच्छा, चलिए मैं आपको ना इससे पहले मैं आपको 86B पे भी I will show you one working and the PPT where you will find कि how we can work on the same and what can be the different propositions और कहाँ हमें उसमें exemption benefit भी मिलेगा. चलिए अब किस किस एरियाज में डिपार्टमेंट और देखो ये क्या पॉइंट्स हैं जो डिपार्टमेंट ऑडिट में जो उन्होंने अपने मैनुअल्स में कंसिडर किया हुआ है. श्योर नवीन जी, आई विल डेफिनेटली टच अपॉन 86B. डोंट वरी, पीपीटी एक और खोलनी पड़ेगी, मैं खोल दूंगा. राइट, चलिए मेंटेनेंस ऑफ बुक्स प्रॉपर हो रहा है कि नहीं, सप्लाई और टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई प्रॉपर है, वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई, टैक्स रेट के चेंजेस, ITC and refunds have been properly taken or not, or have you adhered to the law, circulars and clarifications properly or not. Overall, a comprehensive check. Risk factors के basis पे they are developing their strategy. Department circulars के साथ consistency. They are making a proper pre-audit and audit programs, and turnover declared, taxes paid, refunds claimed. All these are the points that are being considered for the purpose of carrying the basic principles of audit process. Sir, regular departmental trainings are also one of the part of the same. Now, what are किस तरह से they have set the benchmarks against the risk? Entry level risk, cement industry. Sir, cement industry, with due respect to the persons who are dealing in the said industry, but there are always the bad fishes. Cement industry is one of the industry which is generating huge amount of billing surplus. Reason, cement में 28% rate है. That is why the industry has been demanding a lower rate of taxes. Credit accumulation रहता है, क्यों? खुद कई सारा की सीमेंट इंपोर्ट होते हैं, इंपोर्ट पे हायर वैल्यूएशंस लगती हैं और रिफंड नहीं मिलते. As a result, sometimes these excessive billings, या जब आप बिलिंग नहीं लेते हैं, that are being sold outside also. ब्रांडेड फ्रूट ग्रेन्स, अब तो चलो ब्रांडेड नॉन ब्रांडेड का कॉन्सेप्ट अब खत्म हुआ है, पहले एग्जिस्ट करता था. Real estate sector, consultancy services sector, these are the entity level risk. कि ये entities जो है, these are risk prone areas. फिर person compliance behavior, कौन फाइल कर रहा है, कौन नहीं फाइल कर रहा, कौन डिले कर रहा है, what has been the various ratios, कितना टैक्स, and this is one of the most important ratio. आपकी परचेज में exempted turnover नहीं है, आपकी सेल में exempted turnover है. Taxable turnover is to exempted turnover vis-a-vis its purchase. Export, SCZ and total turnovers. Output tax is to input tax. Yes, cash payment is to output tax. कितना percentage of cash, और इसका comparison last year से. How much setup you are using the e-credit ledger and e-cash ledger. Interstate supply vis-a-vis intrastate supply. So there are certain exceptional reports also that are being generated at the departmental level, that ITC claimed reports, turnover declared, GSTR 3B, GSTR 1, cancelled RTPs. And yes, of course, somebody wrote about the government departments. I just missed the question. You have to post it again. So these are the various criteria which are being considered. Now, let me take you to the main point, जिसके ऊपर सबसे ज्यादा issues आ रहे हैं, and that is input tax credit. Input tax credit, where I just want to, चलिए इसी में पहले मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ. Okay, I'm just skipping it for a few minutes and I will come back to it definitely, because बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं which I want to discuss in it too, but first I would like to share with you input tax credit. Yes, विकास जी 86B को रेफर कर रहे हैं शायद आप. कि कमिश्नर एग्जेम्पशन ग्रांट कर सकते हैं। जनरली 86B में हम कमिश्नर की एग्जेम्पशन के लिए जाते हैं जब कोई न्यू यूनिट होता है जो एक्सेप्शन में भी फॉल नहीं कर रहा, एंड सो वी अप्लाई द कमिश्नर फॉर द सेम, क्योंकि बोगस वाला तो जाएगा ही नहीं, जेन्युइन वाला ही जाएगा, राइट? चलिए 86B भी अभी थोड़ी देर में डिस्कस करेंगे, ग्राफिकली करेंगे, विद प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल्स करेंगे, बट लेट मी फर्स्ट टच अपॉन ITC इश्यूज. Friends, ITC has been a big issue even in the audit cases. गवर्नमेंट ने इसके ऊपर सर्कुलर 183 इशू किया, लेकिन ये जो सर्कुलर 183 भी आपके सामने है, दिस इज अ हाफ बेक्ड केस, हाफ बेक्ड केक. रीजन, ना तो साल पूरे कवर्ड है और ना केसेस पूरे कवर्ड है. However, a little relief through this can be obtained where the party is existing. अब उन्होंने बोला कि आपके पर्सन ने टैक्स पे किया है. प्लीज मेक श्योर आई एम हाईलाइटिंग द पॉइंट. अगर आपके आईटीसी में डिफरेंस है और जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट उस पर इशू रेज करता है कि आपका इनपुट 2A में फॉर द फाइनेंशियल ईयर 17-18 एंड 18-19, यस नवीन जी, अभी उसका नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आया है, सो आई एम नॉट टचिंग अपॉन दैट. अभी मैं 17-18 और 18-19 की बात कर रही हूँ 50th काउंसिल मीटिंग को 2 मिनट साइड पे रखते हुए. नाउ सेक्शन 16 में अगर आपकी बाकी सब कंडीशंस पूरी हैं, provides eligibility and other conditions are fulfilled, tax has duly been paid. However, 4 केसेस कवर किए इन्होंने. फर्स्ट, GSTR 1 फाइल नहीं किया, बट अब देखिए सब में मैंने लिखा है 3B has been filed. 4 गलतियां अगर हैं, सामने वाले ने GSTR 1 फाइल नहीं किया, फाइल किया, सप्लायर रिपोर्ट नहीं किया, सप्लायर भी रिपोर्ट किया बट B2B की जगह B2C में कर दिया. फोर्थ क्राइटेरिया, 3B फाइल की, GSTR 1 भी फाइल की, सप्लायर भी रिपोर्ट किया, लेकिन उसका GSTN नंबर गलत डाल दिया. इन ऑल दीज 4 केसेस टैक्स हैज ड्यूली बीन पेड. दैट इज व्हाई दे हैव गिवन यू द बेनिफिट कि अगर आपकी लिमिट 5 लाख तक सप्लायर की है तो आप सप्लायर से सर्टिफिकेट ले लीजिए, और अगर 5 लाख से ऊपर है तो सीए और सीएमए से सर्टिफिकेट ले लीजिए कि भाई साहब पार्टी ने टैक्स पे किया हुआ है. It is only due to any of these 4 errors, it is not reflecting in your GSTR 2A. पुराने टाइम की बात कर रही हूं, इसलिए 2A पे जा रही हूं. However, लास्ट केस में एक रिक्वायरमेंट और है. क्यों? खुद सोचिए. अरे सामने वाले का GSTN गलत डाल दिया है. GSTN नंबर डालना था आंचल कपूर का और डाल दिया विकास बांका जी का. तो उन्होंने बोला एक चीज और कर लेना भाई, विकास बांका जी को भी चेक कर लेना. आंचल कपूर को तो आईटीसी मिलना ही चाहिए, नो प्रॉब्लम, दे भी देंगे अगर उन्होंने सीए सर्टिफिकेट दे दिया और अदरवाइज. लेकिन अगर इन्होंने रॉन्ग GSTN विकास जी का फर्निश किया है, सो यू हैव टू चेक कि विकास बांका जी मस्ट नॉट हैव क्लेम्ड द टैक्स. ITC. Anupam ji, delayed filing of GSTR 3B after 13/4/19. I will come to. This is an issue of 16 subsection 4. This is the issue of 16 subsection 4 जिसको हम contest करते हैं, right? सामने वाले ने रिटर्न लेट भरा है. So अब ये बेनिफिट पहले अवेलेबल था. हाँ, अब ये हाफ बेक्ड केक्स क्यों है? सप्लायर नॉन एग्जिस्टेंस हो गया, राइट? अब इन्होंने बेनिफिट आगे एक्सटेंड किया क्योंकि विप्रो का जजमेंट ऑलरेडी आ चुका था जिसमें उन्होंने 1920 के लिए भी इसको एक्सटेंड किया हुआ था. बट वेयर द सप्लायर इज नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट, nobody is going to get any certificate and no chartered accountant is going to give any certificate. So in that case, it is a very, very difficult situation. Moreover, friends, आपको जो नोटिसेस इशू हो रहे हैं उसमें सबसे पहले क्राइटेरिया आता है सामने वाले ने टैक्स पे नहीं किया है. Even if you are giving your audit replies, I don't know whether it will be accepted or not, because you all know the approach of the department in this case, but you must give a proper justifiable answer to the issues first. We depend upon that This argument number 1 I have given here. You must ensure that yes, 16(2)(c) refers to actually paid. No mechanism has been provided to the purchaser or authority to ensure the compliance. Sir, हुआ क्या है? हुआ ये है कि already GST आया था किसी और मोटिव से, GSTR 2 के बेसिस पर, GSTR 3 के बेसिस पर, बट वो कभी इंप्लीमेंट ही नहीं हुआ. पहले था मेरा बिल अगर नीता जी ने नहीं डाला है तो आई कैन से नीता जी कि भाई मेरा बिल आपके यहाँ पे रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं कर रहा है. Now that is not possible in GST. So the purchaser has been left with no remedy, no legal authority to ensure the compliance of the seller because of the missing matching concept. आपने मुझे मशीनरी दी नहीं है. I cannot amend. I cannot add. You cannot ask me to be responsible for the acts of another person based upon the legal maxim of lex non cogit ad impossibilia. You cannot say me that you must control the action of that person. And in the pre-GST regime, my dear friends, there have been a number of judgments, may it be KK Industries, may it be Arise India, may it be Gerumal Balchand, Infinity Shoes, Altaf Shoes, and various other judgments which talk about all these issues, that the reference can be to the pre-GST regime in this respect. Moreover, even in the post-GST regime, we have recently got the judgment of Gargo Traders, which says, पहले हम pre-GST की बात कर रहे थे. Now it's none other than the High Court of Calcutta itself, where in Gargo Traders, the ITC, the transaction relating to ITC was rejected. But it has been duly held by the Honorable Court that when there is no collusion between both the parties, the ITC cannot be rejected. And same was the earlier judgment for none other than the Kolkata High Court itself in case of LGW Industries. Friends, and this is the things which we also produce when we furnish the reply. First, LGW was the purchaser. वो बोलता है मैंने सब कुछ तो किया है. पेमेंट बैंकिंग चैनल से, बैंक अकाउंट एग्जिस्ट करता था, कैंसलेशन रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट से बाद में की गई है, पूरा ड्यू डिलिजेंस रखा गया था, पार्टी की फोटो, पार्टी के प्रेमाइसेस, पार्टी का मोबाइल नंबर, पार्टी से कॉन्वर्सेशन, पार्टी से ईमेल आईडी, आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द पर्संस, आधार एंड पैन, and the courts have held. It is also appearing in the 2A. Even if you say the party has become non-existent, you cannot hold the petitioner liable for the same. And the court has held that if it is a bona fide one and there is no collusion, you cannot deny ITC to the purchaser. And likewise, we have the case of DY Bethel also, which is by the Madras High Court, although it differs on the point. Here it says, first the recovery should be made from the seller, then you should come to the purchaser. सर गार्गो में और जो हमारा LGW का केस है उसमें ये था कि अगर सप्लायर नॉन एग्जिस्टेंस हो गया है बट ऑल द ट्रांजैक्शंस आर इन ऑर्डर, यू कैन नॉट डिनाई द ITC. DY Bethel says the correct channel is first towards the seller, then you can come towards the purchaser. अगर आपने seller पे कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया, so you cannot raise an objection on the purchaser for the same. Right? Moreover, गवर्नमेंट की अपनी प्रेस रिलीज है. श्री गोविंद कई जो हमारे केसेस है दैट आर पेंडिंग with the various in writ petitions with the various courts where the provisions of 16(2)(c) have duly been challenged. Please make sure to take the benefit. अच्छा, डिपार्टमेंट कई बार कहता है that 16(2)(c) का extended arm है reflection in GSTR 2A or 2B. Please make it a point. मैंने इस टेबल में भी कई इंस्टेंसेस, कई पर्टिकुलर्स मेंशन किए हैं where it has been held कि 16(2)(c) is not the mirror image of your reflection in GSTR 2A or 2B. There have been cases जैसे सप्लायर ने GSTR 1 फाइल की, नंबर गलत डाल दी, टैक्स तो पे है, 16(2)(c तो कंप्लाइड है. सो यू कैनॉट से कि जो 2A है वो अपनी वैल्यू 16(2)(c से डिराइव करता था. इट इज नॉट अ कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ दैट द टैक्सेस हैव बीन पेड. इट इज नॉट अ मिरर इमेज ऑफ सेक्शन 16(2)(c. द रिफ्लेक्शन इन GST are 2A. Moreover, Honorable Apex Court, Supreme Court of India in Bharti Airtel case have particularly mentioned what? That GSTR 2A is merely a facilitator or to retrieve the information. सर हुआ क्या था? अच्छा, वैसे आप सबने पढ़ा होगा भारती एयरटेल एक नेगेटिव जजमेंट था. नेगेटिव इन द सेंस 923 करोड़ की टैक्स लायबिलिटी क्रिएट हुई थी भारती एयरटेल पे. लेकिन जब इस जजमेंट का आप चेक करेंगे पूरा, द एपेक्स कोर्ट has clearly stated that it is just a facilitator to retrieve the information. Yes, absolutely, Vikas Bhaiya. Where the apex court is saying your books are your primary source where you consider the ITC. अगर आपकी किताबों में एग्जिस्ट करता था, सो आपको सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डेटा पर GST या 2 पे रिलाई करने की जरूरत नहीं थी. तो वाइस वर्सा पोजीशन अप्लाइज इन आवर केस ऑल्सो. अगर आप उस टाइम पे कह सकते हो कि भाई लेना था तो ले लेते, अगर सारी कंडीशंस पूरी थी, इट इज ओनली अ फैसिलिटेटर. सो जब मैंने अपना ITC उस बेस पे ले लिया है, somebody asked me कि वो रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हो रहा था अभी थोड़ी देर पहले, you cannot deny me that ITC because of this reason. गवर्नमेंट की प्रेस रिलीज भी रही है where they have themselves mentioned that there is no impact or ability to the taxpayer. However, डिपार्टमेंट जजमेंट नहीं मानता, तो आप क्या सोचते हैं प्रेस रिलीज मान लेगा? सो कीपिंग इट अ लिटिल असाइड, बट देयर आर अदर प्रोविजंस. सेक्शन 642 मैचिंग प्रिंसिपल never came into being. There have been a number of Supreme Court judgments made by Eicher Motors, Daiichi Karkaria, which clear-cut says that the substantive right of ITC cannot be denied merely on non-reflection in GST 2A being a procedural act. Friends, these are not the points which I have just mentioned in the PPT. If you will see the replies that we framed, you will find all these points over there where जिस मर्जी लेवल पर आपका केस हो, never hesitate in giving the replies or the judgments. Somebody asked me about 16 subsection. अच्छा, एक चीज और देखिए, I always take the ground, आपने मेरा सेल चैलेंज नहीं किया, आपने मेरी परचेज चैलेंज नहीं की. You are not doubting the genuineness of purchase. You are not doubting my sale. मैंने परचेज भी किया, मैंने सेल भी किया. But just because वो 2A में reflect नहीं कर रहा, you are denying my ITC, which is one of the main grounds when you formulate the appeal. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. GST क्लास और टेक्निकल ग्लिच नहीं हुई, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है?
हाँ, all right. देखो, अपने आप ही लॉग आउट कर दिया, अपने आप ही लॉग इन कर लिया.
Yeah. Please continue.
All right. So friends, are you there with us?
Yeah. All are here.
Chat. All right. Of course, we are. Great to see you all here back. Now, friends, what we were talking about, section 16, subsection 4, और मुझे 86B भी cover करना है, I know that. Let me just adjust it a little. Friends, आजकल बहुत सारे नोटिस आ रहे हैं. आपने 16 subsection 4 बहुत बार पढ़ा होगा, but I request you once to read 16 subsection 4 and 16 subsection 2 simultaneously or one simultaneously. Section 16 subsection 1 एक बहुत छोटा सा section है. अच्छा, वो मेरा इसमें आज मैंने नहीं डाला है. Now you please see section 16 subsection 1 once. अगर आप section 16 subsection 1 को पढ़ेंगे, so you will find there are 2 limbs in section 16 subsection 1. 2 limbs. And what are those 2 limbs? First, it talks about entitlement to take if the goods are used in the course or furtherance of business. And second limb of 16 subsection 1 says, credit in GSTR, credit through in the credit ledger through GSTR 3B. Section, am I audible? Yeah, yes. Okay, so if I'm talking about section 16 subsection 1, it has 2 limbs. First, books of accounts, and section 16 subsection 1 says entitlement and taking of credit in the credit ledger. So when I'm talking about these 2, if you read section 16 subsection 4, it is only talking about entitlement to input tax credit. See, entitlement to input tax credit. It means in section 16 subsection 1, अभी मैं उस पॉइंट को हाईलाइट नहीं कर रही कि वो सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 2 नॉटविथस्टैंडिंग से स्टार्ट होता है. फॉर द टाइम इफ वी फॉरगेट दैट, even if we
Again disconnected. तरुण जी, फिर से रिटर्न लगाने की कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी.
I'm so sorry. Again logged out, right? So sorry.
Yes.
सच्ची मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. ये मैं तो अकेली बोलती रह जाती हूँ और ये लॉग आउट हुआ होता है.
नहीं, डेटा कम से कम प्रेजेंट तो हो रखा है, नहीं तो डेटा भी चला जाता जीएसटी पोर्टल में तो.
Okay, can you see the share of section 16 subsection 4 Word document? Can you all see that?
Yes.
All right. Chaliye. Okay, great, Ravindra ji, Neeta ji, and many other persons over there whose names have flown on my screen. My dear friends, please have a look what I was trying to say. There are 2 limbs in section 16 subsection 1. One is entitlement to take input tax credit and another is credit to the electronic credit ledger. And when you read section 16 subsection 4, it only and only talks about entitlement to take credit, meaning thereby, or entitlement कहाँ? Books of accounts में होती है. 2 limbs क्या है? Entitlement to take credit to electronic credit ledger. Credit to electronic credit ledger 3B के through होता है. Entitlement to take is when you are fulfilling the conditions and you are entitled to take the input tax credit in your books of account. सो रजिस्टर्ड, अगर मैं रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन के लिए सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 4 रीड करूं, सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 4 ओनली पुट्स अ टाइम लिमिट बार ऑन एंटाइटलमेंट टू टेक। और किताबों में अगर आप ले चुके हो, 3 भी अगर आपने बाद में भी ली है, so section 16 subsection 4 does not bar you from the entitlement to take credit. So this is one of the ground which we take when we prepare the reply for 16 subsection 4. Here it is in front of you. Secondly, non-obstante clause in section 16 subsection 2. Section 16 subsection 2 में substantial conditions है for entitlement to take the credit. And this section not only overrides the others, only its own subsection, other subsections, but it covers the entire section 16 and even section 16 subsection 4. Hence, if ITC is taken upon the fulfillment of substantial conditions in section 16 subsection 2, it cannot be taken away due to the procedural lapses. The time limits apply, but sections, I'm not saying that yes, there has been the honorable court judgment which says the time limit applies, but section 16 subsection 2 has been drafted in such a way that it overrules the entire section 16, including section 16 subsection 4. Third, intent of the government. Section 50, late fees. There I have been many times where the government has given the extensions. If this has been the intention of the government, if you are, then there was no meaning of the late fee if you are denying the ITC. Even when the extensions have been given, the late fee has been levied, there has been waiver of so many times. It gives a clear-cut picture that the ITC has never been a concern for the government कि अगर आप 16 subsection 4 के बाद लेते हो, this has never been the intent of the government that if they file the return after a particular period, the ITC will be denied. So even when we make it, we take the ground of 300A, Article 19(1)(g), that when there are other conditions being fulfilled, so you cannot deny the ITC merely and merely on the basis of the procedural lapses. So number of pointers, see, this is what I was highlighting. 16 subsection 1, entitlement to take input tax credit, then credited to the electronic credit ledger of such person, 2 limbs, whereas section 16(4) puts condition only on one, right? So based upon Article 300A, 19(1)(g), you cannot deny that the if a ITC has been taken after a particular period, the ITC should not be denied. All right, sure. So friends, let me come to one more provision. Okay, हमने कुछ pointers जो पीछे छोड़े थे और एक 86 भी. विकास जी, I will be taking 2 more topics and then I will hand over for the question answer session. Friends, 86B पर आने से पहले, let me discuss a few more pointers with you, which is directly related to the points that are being raised in audit other than the supplier points, right? Let me come to that. Yes. Sir, nowadays, even the GST audit manual refers to significant accounting policies. Which methods you are using for the construction expenditures? आपने अभी बोला कुछ expenditures मैंने capitalize कर दिए. Capital being treated as revenue, revenue being treated as capital. Foreign currency items, investments. I give you one example also. Sir, अगर आप investments को maintain कर रहे हैं, whether your head office is maintaining the same or branch office, because it is a state-based revenue. Revenue किसको जाना चाहिए? Your policies with respect to the retirement benefits, valuation of fixed assets, such other policies must also be considered in mind while presenting for the audits. And deemed supplies. Cross charge nowadays is a very, very important issue. we must adhere to how to treat the supplies B2B, head office and branch wise, transportation cost, handling cost, purchase invoices, all these points must properly be checked. And friends, I already told you that 73 and 74, these are the points, these are the audit and the assessments triggers the point to 73 and 74. So these are the base points through which they take you for the other sections. Now let me, before I conclude it, let me share rule 86B with you too. Just give me a while. 1 second. I'm just taking 86B because it was asked in some query. Otherwise, I didn't make it the part of today's deliberation. Here it is. Now you see one thing which I want to show you all here. If you check the cancellation rule, even the provision of 86B has been included at point number G. That if you violate the provision of 86B, the same will be held. Is my slide visible? Rule 86B slide is visible. No, not yet. Not yet. Let me share it again if you are unable to see it. Now, is it 86B visible to all of you?
Yes, yes.
All right. चलिए, great. So friends, 86B में मैं सबसे पहले बता दूं, 86B rule was brought into with effect from 1/1/2021. This is the rule verbatim in front of you, but let me present it in a graphical manner in front of you all first. If there is a registered person, and he has a pehli baar, in this, the quantum is not to be checked on annual basis. Somebody said me, मेरा तो कोई ऐसा वो नहीं है जिसका turnover 6 crore से ऊपर हो. Answer is absolutely no. You have to check the per month limit. If it is crossing 50 lakh, the value of taxable supplies crossing 50 lakhs, then in that case, rule 86B will become applicable. It does not include your exempt supplies. It does not include your zero rated supplies. So if the value of taxable supply in a month exceeds 50 lakh rupees, you are not allowed to use your electronic credit ledger fully. अरे पैसा पड़ा भी है ना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में, तब भी 99% यूज कर सकते हो, 1% तो कैश में पेमेंट करना ही पड़ेगा. This is what the basic point of 86B. और ये क्यों आया? ये फेक इनवॉइसिंग को कर्टेल करने के लिए ही आया. फेक इनवॉइसिंग को कर्टेल करने के लिए क्यों? अरे सर, उनके लिए तो 1% क्वांटम भी बहुत ज्यादा है. जब आप इतने हजारों करोड़ों में डील कर रहे हो, and there are small vendors, the rickshaw walas and all other people where the fake IDs have been generated. So they said, although you pay 1%, you are supposed to pay 1% in cash. However, देखो अब उन्होंने कितने स्मार्टली एग्जेम्पशन क्रिएट किया. क्यों? अगर आप एक अच्छे टैक्स पेयर हैं, अगर आप डिपार्टमेंट से रिफंड लेते आए हैं, इन दैट केसेस हम आप पे ये प्रोविजन नहीं लगाएंगे. And they provided the exemption. What? आप पर्सन खुद यानी कंपनी, एंटिटी, व्हाटएवर, उसका प्रोप्राइटर या उसका कर्ता या उसके कोई 2 पार्टनर, उसके होल टाइम डायरेक्टर, उसकी मैनेजिंग कमेटी के मेंबर, ट्रस्टीज, अगर आप लोग साल में 1 लाख से ज्यादा इनकम टैक्स पे करते हैं इन लास्ट 2 फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स, अगर आपने 1 लाख से ज्यादा टैक्स कंपनी ने खुद, मतलब पर्सन ने खुद या उसके प्रोप्राइटर ने या उसके कर्ता ने या किसी भी पर्सन ने अगर इंडिविजुअली मतलब इन 1 पर्सन पैन नंबर 1 लाख से ज्यादा इनकम टैक्स पे किया है, इन दैट केस आप एक फ्रॉडस्टर नहीं हैं और हम आपके ऊपर ये प्रोविजन 86B का एग्जेम्प्ट कर देंगे. मेनी अ टाइम्स क्वेश्चन कम्स टू मी, डज इट इंक्लूड मैट एंड टीडीएस? यस. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट नेसेसरीली आपको चालान से ही पे किया होना चाहिए 1 लाख. tax payable in all totality in the return should be 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh, may be through the TDS, made through the MAT credit, whatsoever is the payment mode, that does not matter. Second, अगर आप हमसे रिफंड लेते हैं, किसका रिफंड? एक्सपोर्ट का, in the preceding financial year on account of unutilized ITC of export या inverted duty structure का, अगर 1 लाख से ऊपर रिफंड लिया है, इन दैट केस आपके ऊपर 86B के प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, आप 100% क्रेडिट यूज कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट कंडीशन, अगर क्यूमुलेटिवली आपने 1% ऑफ टोटल आउटपुट से ज्यादा क्यूमुलेटिवली उसी करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में आउटपुट टैक्स पे किया है थ्रू कैश लेजर. सर, अगर आज मैं जून मंथ में हूं, सो अप्रैल मई जुलाई में हूं, अप्रैल मई जून, अगर आप वही नवंबर में आ जाएंगे, अप्रैल मई जून, आउटपुट टैक्स पेड थ्रू द कैश लेजर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर ईयर is greater than 1, अगर आपने उसमें 1% से ऊपर अपने कैश लेजर से पे किया होगा up to the said month in the current financial year, आपके ऊपर उस मंथ में 86B के प्रोविजन नहीं लगेंगे. डोंट वरी, प्रैक्टिकल मैंने अगली स्लाइड में दिखाया भी है इसका. लास्टली, अगर आप एक गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट है, अरे बाबा, अगर आप गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट है, कोई पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग है, लोकल अथॉरिटी है, स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडीज है, सो यू कैन नॉट बी अ पर्सन हु इज एंटरिंग इनटू फेक इनवॉइसिंग ट्रांजैक्शन, हेंस यू आर एग्जेम्प्ट. अदर देन दैट, अब सर इसमें कौन फंसता था? सिक कंपनीज. इसमें कौन फंसता था? स्टार्टअप्स, क्योंकि ना तो उन्होंने इनकम टैक्स पे किया होता था, हाँ, बट ना वो फ्रॉडस्टर्स है. एज अ रिजल्ट दे गेव वन मोर प्रोवाइजो कि ओके, आप कमिश्नर से या ऑथराइज्ड ऑफिसर से आप पर्टिकुलर रिक्वेस्ट करके यू मे गेट दिस रिस्ट्रिक्शन रिमूव्ड and such safeguards as you may deem fit, you can apply them for the same. Friends, in this slide I have shown that how you have to check for the monthly turnover. For example, in February, किसी मंथ में एक पर्सन के ऊपर 86B लग भी सकता है और अगले मंथ में हो सकता है ना लगे. सो जैसे पहले केस में उसी पर्सन के फेब मंथ में उसका एग्जाम टर्नओवर 1 करोड़ था, एक्सपोर्ट 2 करोड़ थी, दोनों काउंट नहीं होने. 45 लाख का टर्नओवर था, टैक्सेबल टर्नओवर. एज अ रिजल्ट उसके ऊपर 86B नहीं लगा. बट इन नेक्स्ट मंथ, बिकॉज इज टैक्सेबल टर्नओवर 1 करोड़, इट विल बिकम एप्लीकेबल. अब जिस मंथ में वो 1 करोड़ से ऊपर जाएगा, although उसके पास ITC 8 lakhs पड़ा था, but you won't be able to use that. Minimum 1% of the tax he's supposed to pay in cash. Exceptions I have already told you. और एक एक्सेप्शन याद है, थर्ड वाली क्या थी? अब ये देखिए, अब वो पर्सन कहाँ है? February 21 में. अगर उसने उस पीरियड में, यानी अप्रैल से मार्च में लग रहा है ना उसके ऊपर, अप्रैल से फेब तक अगर उसने 1 लाख से ऊपर पे किया, 1 लाख वाला नहीं, 1 लाख से ऊपर कैश लेजर से पे किया है, तो मार्च मंथ में उसके ऊपर 86B नहीं लगे. बाकी तो नॉर्मल है अगर आपने रिफंड क्लेम किया है. हाउ इट मेक्स द डिफरेंस, द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड विल टेल यू. Sometimes 86B लगाने से सिर्फ आपके टोटल टैक्स में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. In sometimes it only changes your heads. So I have given here 3 illustration that how 86B, the minimum tax payable, can get impacted. कि कहीं पे टैक्स की लायबिलिटी ज्यादा बनेगी, कहीं पर it will not make any difference, only the heads will be changed. So now 86B is one of the mandatory sections which one is required to follow, and everyone should be adhered to it. In the audits also, we are getting the pointers like 86B, credit non-reflection in GST or 2A, 2B issues, and the issues like bogus billing purchases, etc., for which the requisite replies I have already shared with you. Thank you so much to all of you for the patient listening, and now I hand over to Vikas ji for the further proceedings.
Thank you, ma'am, for your nice deliberation. Now I ask all the participants, if they have any question, they may directly raise to the madam. You can unmute yourself. Any question from any side? मैडम जब कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आता ना तो हम लोग ये समझते हैं कि सबसे बढ़िया डेलिब्रेशन हुआ है, कुछ पूछने ही नहीं है, सब समझ गए हैं। सब बढ़िया से बढ़िया।
अब I can show you the other side of the coin also. मैं बोल के अपनी सलाह आदित्य जी, I just saw you in the deliberation.
I also recognize the presence of Adit Singhania ji, renowned speaker from Calcutta, earlier from
So
Delhi.
Calcutta has many renowned persons. It's Calcutta is a renowned city and with so many speakers and the authors all across.
समझ गया. I get your point. One question here is from Mr. C.A. Devraj. TDS and Challan paid is greater than 1 lakh, but in the last quarter, due to loss, there is a refund in income tax. Will it be considered?
No,
Or at least-
Devraj, net. You have to do it net. If there is refund, that will not be considered as the tax payable. So whatever, ऐसा नहीं है कि आप वहाँ पे refund due to any reason, if it is, but it will not fulfill the criteria if the person has claimed the refund. So second question is also there from Gaurav Agarwal ji.
Gaurav Agarwal ji, can audit officer seize document before him?
Gaurav ji, what you call it as a seizure? Because for seizure, there must be a specific approvals that are required, and seizure in GST is referred in section 67 subsection 2 itself. So there is nothing, they can call for the record, they can examine the record, they can keep a copy of it, but as particularly seizure cannot be referred to. And I hereby say that if any other person who is present there has any other view, so they are most welcome to share their view also.
No, ma'am, I am with you because seizure can be conducted under section 67(2). Only
Yes.
167(1) is invoked. If inspection is no there, there is no inspection, so seizure cannot be done.
Yes, there must be particular authorization for 67(2) for seizure to be made. There are certain criteria to be fulfilled for the same. For seizure, there must be a seizure note. Without all these things on record, you cannot say that the particular document can be seized.
So, Mr. Anupam is asking, should dealer be liable to reconcile the value as declared in e-way bill issued by the transporter in the name of the such dealer with their turnover for a particular financial year in audit?
I need to read the question again. Should dealer be liable to reconcile the value declared in the e-way bill, issued by the transporter, reconcile the value as declared in the e-way bill by the transporter in name of such dealer with their turnover for a particular financial year? Sir, if you are talking about the way bill or the e-way bill, see, because
E-way bill. He is talking about
I
e-way bill.
think so, because he has written way bill issued by the transporter in the name of such dealer, e-way bill. All right. So Anupam ji, department takes it one of the criteria that whatever is the amount in the e-way bill and your turnover, the purchase and sale, inward ka e-way bill, outward ka e-way bill. So reconciliations are generally being demanded through the assessment orders also, while the audits are being done also, कि आपका जो turnover है as per e-way bill or as per your GST returns should match. So yes, outward also they demand, and even in the assessment section may it be 61, because वहां पे भी वो return का matching कर रहे हैं with the related particulars. 3B का base लेते हैं और साथ में आपका e-way bill data उठाते हैं. Likewise in audit also they can do so. I don't find any reason that there can be reconciliations, there can be reasons for mismatch, but the same issue can be raised by them.
Next question is by Nita Madam. If company deposit RCM on freight, but it will not reconcile with 2A because transporter filed the return on bill basis, but we book the bill, there is difference. My question is that RCM is not eligible input.
Nita ji, RCM, if you are paying, if you are depositing the RCM, then your base document is your challan, on basis of which you are claiming the RCM. So in 2A, it also only merely reflects the entry that, okay, this tax has been paid in the RCM itself. So according to me, if you have duly paid the RCM, you are with the challan and you have the invoice of the transporter if he is registered, and if he's not registered, then there must be a self invoice for the same. The IPC to that will be available.
Next question is Mr. Subruto. For 86B, should it be pen-based, HO or branch together?
for 86B, of course, sir, it should be PAN based. Matlab, if you are referring to 1 lakh ka tax payment, so that will be income tax में जब आप 1 lakh का tax payment उठाएंगे, तो that will be PAN based. For the person, when I'm referring, income tax should be paid, that should be PAN based. Sir, आप उसको branch wise कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. इनकम टैक्स में तो आपको पर्सन पैन वाइज ही मिलेगा, उसका टैक्स पेड भी पैन वाइज ही मिलेगा. सो फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ क्लेमिंग एग्जेम्पशन फ्रॉम रूल 86B, व्हेन यू हैव टू चेक द इनकम टैक्स क्राइटेरिया, दैट विल गो एज पर द पैन बेस.
Naveen ji asking under section 16 bracket 2 subsection D, read with section 39(1), if 3B filed after due date, can ITC be denied?
Sir, actually, this is an question which is related directly with section 16 subsection 4. क्योंकि रिटर्न लेट फाइल हुआ है, वो कह रहे हैं कि आप ITC 16 subsection 4 के टाइम पीरियड के बाद ले रहे हैं. और इन दिस डेलिब्रेशन आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट in detail how we can frame a reply as to section 16 subsection 4 where there is denial of ITC. I hope this is what he wants to ask.
Yeah.
I
True.
cannot see the question.
Yes, yes. Now Anupam ji is asking, can audit ask for turnover reconciliation? Please note, we have multiple registrations across the state in India, or only 9C declaration is well enough?
Anupam ji, even while filing GST or 9C, you must have prepared a due reco of the turnover, even as per income tax or the other audits being done, and as per GST also. So according to me, your GST or 9C will act as one of the base. If your turnover 9C matches with the audited turnover, that is fine. If there are any recourse to the same, still, which are not properly visible because कईयों का 9C का first year था, कई गलतियां हो चुकी हैं. So अगर आप में उसमें भी कोई error रह गया था or something, so proper reco can be demanded कि भाई आपका जो turnover है वो GST turnover और income tax turnover जो है वो audit turnover जो है that should particularly match. So you have asked, can audit ask for turnover reconciliation? Yes, they can ask. Even if you have multiple registration, तो आपको हर registration का आप turnover दे सकते हैं and उसको total कर सकते हैं across the state in India, or only 9C declaration is well enough. 9C also acts as one of the base, and I think so अगर आपने सबका 9C file किया है तो उसमें आपका total turnover audited turnover से match करेगा. So until or unless there is some error or there are certain adjustments which are not reflected there.
Naveen ji, you can ask your query directly.
Actually, good evening.
जी sir. Good evening sir.
The query.
सर मुझे आवाज नहीं, सर दोबारा बोलेंगे please.
1 minute. In one of the cases, now the voice is coming.
Yes
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Yes.
In one of the cases, the issue happens to be for the May month 3B, I filed on 25th of May, 5 days after the due date. In the
Yes.
same month itself, officer said section 16(2)D, read with 39(1), where the ITC is there.
I got
It
your
has to
point
be
sir.
filed within the due date. Since you have
सर
missed
कहाँ लिखा है, कहाँ लिखा है?
39(1),
पहली बात, I tell you, आप ITC ले रहे हैं, आपको रिटर्न फाइलिंग जरूरी है. टाइमली वर्ड कहाँ है 16(2)D में?
read with 39(1), is saying the return which is said in 16(2)D is the return, and return is section 39(1). In
Yes,
39(1),
return is the same. Return is 3B, absolutely correct. But nowhere it is specified that it should be timely filed as per the provisions laid down therein.
No, it is said in 39(1). What interpretation he is doing is 39 is saying when you want to take the ITC, it should be within the due date. 16(4) time limit is.
So this
you
is an
can take-
extended interpretation which is given by the officer concerned to a particular provision.
Yeah.
There they have mentioned that he must have filed the return as per section 39. Means he is referring to that the 3B or whatever return is there in 39. Now to 3B has step into the shoes of GSTR 3 itself by virtue of the Honorable Apex Court judgment of Acae company. So that is considered as a valid return. And it is saying कि 39 का return file होना चाहिए sir. फिर तो अगर हम ऐसे चलने लगे सो इस तरह से तो लेट फी, इंटरेस्ट वेवर्स, उन सब का कोई मतलब ही नहीं रह जाएगा कि अगर मेरी रिटर्न
मैडम
5 दिन लेट है तो आपको आईटीसी, सर फिर तो इवन सेक्शन 16 सब सेक्शन 4 भी रिडंडेंट हो जाता है। सेक्शन
मैडम फिर
16
तो सिंपल सी बात है, जो बिलेटेड
क्राइटेरिया नहीं रह जाता।
मैडम जो बिलेटेड रिटर्न है, वेदर दीज आर नॉट रिटर्न,
Of course, this is what they are. Those are also returned under Section 39 itself.
39.
So, with this extended interpretation of the officer, had the word written timely, so then his point would have been valid. भी आपने 5 दिन बाद फाइल की है, सर फिर तो लेट फी के सेक्शंस, इंटरेस्ट, फिर तो सर इंटरेस्ट का क्राइटेरिया लेट, मतलब फिर तो वहां पे सेक्शन 16 सब सेक्शन 4 इटसेल्फ ही खत्म हो जाता है। आपने तो रिटर्न एक दिन लेट की तो वो खत्म है। फिर क्यों गवर्नमेंट ने टाइम 16/4 में अगले साल की नवंबर तक दिया हुआ है?
उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन ये है कि 16/4 का टाइम लिमिट है कि आपका मई का रिटर्न लेट हो गया तो आप पूरा का पूरा टैक्स भरो, नेक्स्ट महीना विद इन ड्यू डेट रिटर्न भर के आईटीसी लो।
Sir, I beg to differ with the same interpretation, and that is a very vast interpretation by adding a word timely that has been given.
Naveen ji, you please refer section 39 subsection 9 also.
Rectification also, that you can make
Rectification of returns.
Sir, he is referring now, वो circular 26 को ले रहे कि आप अगले month में rectify कर दीजिए and so on. But to my absolutely, if you read 39(9), if you read section 34, credit note ka adjustment and all that,
Correct,
all
correct.
those are allowed till the next year November return, 30th November, till 30th November, will not say November return, till 30th November. So according to me, this is a very vast interpretation for blocking ITC that has been given to section 16(2)(d) and should not be sustained. It makes other sections very, very redundant, including
Yes.
16 section 4.
This is my viewpoint, but the officer is very redundant that I will give the so cause for demand.
Sir, we cannot challenge the thinking of the officers. This is his interpretation he made. But the
Sir, and we know you are bold enough to get it out of the clutches. Don't worry.
Yes. Next question is from Gaurav Agarwal ji. What to do if SSC made mistake in filing R9 for audit period and carry forward ITC is not correctable? Any case law on this issue?
Not in my knowledge as such, but you can generally make a RICO. There has been error. Case law I am not aware of in this respect. मैंने गलती नहीं की अभी तक GST 990 में, तो ढूंढना नहीं पड़ा ढूंढना पड़ेगा तो आपके साथ जरूर शेयर कर दूंगी. बट अदरवाइज यू कैन जस्ट गिव अ सिंपल रिप्लाई दैट हाँ, एरर बेस्ड पे ले सकते हैं, प्रोसीजरल लैप्स पर ले सकते हैं केस लॉ कि अगर कोई प्रोसीजरल लैप्स है तो यू कैन नॉट डिनाई माय पर्टिकुलर थिंग. उसके ऊपर आपको दाइची किरकारिया एंड वेरियस अदर आयशर मोटर्स बहुत सारे केसेस मिल जाएंगे कि प्रोसीजरल लैप्स की वजह से यू कैन नॉट डिनाई मी अ पर्टिकुलर राइट रिजॉर्टिंग टू आर्टिकल of the constitution also, not directly, that is not in my knowledge as such, but yes, if you provide a proper RICO and to substantiate that कि ये error हो गया था, which is apparent also, so you can just present your viewpoint or your RICO in that respect. Anything Aditya ji or Vikas ji you have to say in that respect?
Aditya ji, please, can you throw some light on it?
On what?
Wrong filing of GSTR 9.
Wrong filing of GSTR 9.
GSTR 9 and denying the credit.
Okay, sir, according to me, the credit flows from GSTR 3B.
3B, yes.
GSTR 9 is merely a statement which is giving a summary of already filed returns. उससे लाइबिलिटी क्रिएट जरूर हो सकती है बट लाइबिलिटी रिड्यूस नहीं हो सकती. सो वो दो कॉर्नर्स पर ही बेस्ड है कि कुछ एक्स्ट्रा है, देना है तो दे दीजिए, अब उसके बेसिस पे कुछ क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. सो योर एक्चुअल रिटर्न विच paves the way for ITC, which paves the way for the liabilities 3B, and your credit ledgers and your cash ledgers. So GSTR 9 is a procedural document. अगर उसमें कोई चीज इंफॉर्मेशन गलत फर्निश हुई है ना, तो गवर्नमेंट को उसका कोई रेवेन्यू लॉस है. सो रेवेन्यू लॉस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द पॉइंट. उसमें कोई रेवेन्यू लॉस नहीं है. अगर कुछ मिस हुआ है, इवन गवर्नमेंट ने खुद एक इंस्ट्रक्शन इशू की थी. कुछ केस, अब देयर आर सर्टेन केसेस जिसमें 9 नहीं जाती है, या जिसमें 9 अगर आपको उसके बावजूद कोई लाइबिलिटी दिखती है तो आप उसको DRC 03 के थ्रू पे कर सकते हैं. So considering all these points, to my considered view, GSTR 9 is merely a summary of the previously filed returns, and if 3B is correct, or if then wrong furnishing of information in 9C can call for a minor penalties, but it should not be an issue to create a liability or to deny the ITC.
True, true. And further, table number 12 and 13 in GSTR 9 is itself is optional.
Yes, it
So if
was
you have not-
optional. Some cases GSTR 9 was even optional.
Yeah. So even
So
though you
they
have
have
not
given you
reported,
DRC
so
03. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
please, please.
if in some cases you have not reported in table number 12 and 13 that your carry forward ITC cannot be denied on that basis because 12, 13 was itself an optional.
Yes, 12, 13 was optional. So, sir, even I've seen the big corporates nationwide have not filed the full information in GSTR 9 due to some columns being optional. So, of course, the reconciliations for that needs to be worked upon.
Correct. Thank you for your nice deliberation, Machalji, because we have to restrict with the time. So now
I saw
request-
Tarun ji has come. कि चलो बस करो, अब तो time हो गया है.
Okay. Now I request Adit Singhania ji to tender a vote of thanks on our behalf of our association. Adit ji, please. You are muted, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over to you.
First of all, very much thanks to Vikas sir for giving me this opportunity to give a vote of thanks to the esteemed speaker, Ms. Anchal. I haven't met her, but I have heard a lot about her. All of social media is filled with her speaking and oratory power. And as far as GST is concerned and the course which the ACAE has launched, the certificate course of 10 days, I think it's a very wonderful course, especially when we look at the GST being 6 years old now, right? Because in the earlier 5 years period or 6 year period, we were struggling with the compliance part. Now, since the limitation period is about to get over, so we are coming across very unique situations day on day basis that how to deal with the department and things like that. So the structuring of the course of these changes, I think this is one of a very good opportunity which all the participants are taking a benefit of this. And as far as this session is concerned, so I think a wonderful deliberation has been given by Anchal ma'am, giving a highlights on how to handle the department audits. Yesterday, I'll just like to share one of my experience with the department yesterday only. What happened is that ASMT 10 was issued to my client. I appeared before the department. Now the department is calling for the information, okay, and looking forward for the supporting documents. So whatever supporting documents were required, I gave it to the department, to the officer. Now the officer asked me that to bring all the original invoice copies, and in regard to the zero rated supply, he was asking me to give all the copies of shipping bills along with the BRC copies. So I directly asked her, ma'am, kindly give me under which provision are you asking me the document? Second point, you have to give me in writing whatever documents you are asking me. So she said that, will you teach me how to do the or how to conduct the proceedings? This was the actual case I'm mentioning. So I simply told her that, ma'am, I'm not here to teach you, but yes, we are here to follow the provisions of the law. You are also bound with the provision of the law, and I'm also bound by the same, right? So we have to adhere with the thing. So she was expecting me that to bring all the documents at her place of business. So my simple submission was that if what is the meaning of the accounts and records rules which suggest me to maintain all the records at my principal place of business. If you are asking me to, that means you are asking me to shift my entire place of business in your office, which is literally not possible. So we really need to understand at this point of time that what does the law says and how to deal with the department tactfully. And after a heated conversation of 2 minutes with her, she accepted that yes, you can show me the sample document. So we as the professionals really need to understand that what is the provision of the law and how we should deal with the department tactfully. It's not like anything or everything sought by the department has to be given. So this area is being identified by the ACAE, especially how to handle the litigation. And in this series, we have placed, I think, all of the best speakers from India. And today's session, which was on the departmental audit, handling departmental audit, was also a fabulous one. So my heartfelt thanks to, on behalf of the entire ACA family and on behalf of all the participants, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving a clarity and sharing your practical insights that how we should adhere with the things and how we should handle the audits and all. So thank you so much, and
My
we request
pleasure
you that
indeed, especially receiving the vote of thanks from you and in the presence of Vikasji and Tarunji and all the elite persons here. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure indeed. And yes, I would further support the view what Adityaji faced. I always start two words, courage and weird world. GST is a weird world. Law also supports the brave. So you need to be very, very courageous, very, very tactful in handling the department and be in support of the legal provisions, which have been generally kept on stake by certain officer concerns and which we, being the legal person, must vouch upon.
so, ma'am, this
Thank
is
you,
on
ma'am.
behalf of the ACA family. We are presenting you a token of memento from our side. So please
That's so,
accept
so
it as
nice.
a
Thank you
gratitude
so
from our
much.
side.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see you all personally soon in some other session or otherwise. Thank you so much for bringing me on the platform of ACAE for a very well organized certificate course.
Thank you, ma'am. Tarunji, over to you. Do you want to say something?
No, thank you so much, Vikasji, Aditya, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. So I'm sure the participants have really benefited from today's session. We will request you if you can share the PPT with us so we can.
Certainly, sir. It is meant for the participants and it will
Yes.
definitely be shared.
Yes. So we'll share it with the participants. And thank you so much.
Certainly, I will.
Thank
I
you.
will. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
to all.
much. Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants for utilizing their valuable times. Thank you, sir.
Yes, and their
Thank
active
you, ma'am.
participation throughout. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
thoroughly
Thank you,
enjoyed the
Aditi.
session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Honored.